Hey everybody, it's Ryan of Mama on Mission, and today it is time for our December book review. A little late again, sorry. We did a little bit better reading in December than we did in November, at least I did, um, but not where I'd like to be, but we're getting there. We're past the holidays now, so hopefully time is a little more plentiful, although we just started basketball and stuff, so who knows. Um, but I will start with my podcast. I know those aren't technically books, but it's what I listen to. So um, the two that I'm going to recommend this month are Someone Knows Something. It's a CBC cold case investigation, I guess. The man, I can't remember his David Rigdon, I think is his name. He goes and investigates some cold cases and kind of tries to dig around for some answers. And I love stuff like that. And the other one I'm going to recommend to you is Courageous Parenting. I'm very new to this one. I've only listened to like one or two of them, but it gives very practical biblical wisdom for raising your kids, and we could all use a little bit of that. As far as audiobooks, we have Atlas Shrugged, still super long, still going, liking it. Still liking that fast forward button to fast forward through the parts that I'm not super fond of. So we'll just say that. Then I'm going to kind of flip back and forth here. For fiction, still working on Frankenstein. Guys, I don't know why I don't like it. And I hate quitting books just because I don't really love it. If it was a newer book and whatever and I just wasn't feeling it, I would quit it in a heartbeat. But I'm not going to quit a classic book. It's just not going to happen. So I'm just still plugging away. I did end up finding it on audiobook to see if that would help because I've had very little sit down time lately to read. So you'll see coming up I've switched a lot to audiobooks, but it's easier for me because the only sit down time I've really had recently is after the kids have gone to bed, and the second I pick up a book, my eyes feel like they cannot possibly stay open for another minute. So I've just been putting in my headphones while I'm doing dishes and sweeping and doing all the mom stuff, and I've been able to read a lot more that way. So okay, it's fine. So hopefully switching Frankenstein to audio, I'll be able to get through it better. Speaking of getting through things, guess who finished the Boundaries book? This girl right here. I loved that book, and you're like, well, why did it take you however long to finish it? Well, it just did, but I loved it. It had a lot of practical advice on, how to set boundaries. It talked a lot about why we need them, and it talked a lot about why we have the boundary problems we have. Some of us have, no boundaries where anything goes, and then, obviously that's not good. And sometimes we have, boundaries with the wrong things inside, with some of the good things left outside. And anyway, it tells you why you have these different issues and how to fix them and why it's healthy to fix them. And I don't know, it was very, very eye-opening to me. So I definitely recommend that one. And I don't know if I mentioned this, I switched it to audio and it helped me finish it up. So there you go. I'm also still very slowly but surely working on the Wellness Revelation. I have a health update coming that will kind of explain more about that, but we're still working on it. And that wraps it up for me. Not as much as I would have liked, but better than November, so I'll take it. As far as our read alouds, we are finishing Trump of the Swan this week. So did we finish it in December? Technically no, but close enough. And the reason why it's taken us so long, other than the holidays and the blah, 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 you've heard me say a million times, all the busyness, everyone's saying that, is my kids have really been, I mentioned this last month about Jude, really been into picture books again, which is totally cool. But we've just read a lot of fun library picture books. So we just haven't gotten as much novel reading done as we typically like to, but it's okay. As far as Trump of the Swan goes, I like it. It's just not my favorite. I honestly like animal fiction, even as a kid. Not really my thing. Stuart Little, Winnie the Pooh, all that stuff. It's just not my favorite stuff. It never has been. But my boys seem to be liking it okay. So they always ask me to read more, and I always get really sleepy reading it. So that's another reason why it's taken us so long. Plus, because we've had so much going on in the evenings, um, when we come home, there's not much time before they need to be getting in bed. And we've been trying to make family worship more of a priority than anything else. And so if I were to come home and then try to read aloud and then try to do family worship, then everyone's extra tired and grumpy. And I don't want to have that time with like grumpy hearts. I would rather have that time when everyone's kind of still joyful. So we just haven't had as much nighttime reading as I would like. But anyway, we're finishing Trump for this one. And then for Jude, my second grader, he this month finished up the Kingdom of Renly. There's a Kingdom of Renly series. Book number 1, I believe, is called The Lost Stone. And it was pretty easy for him, but he really liked it. It wasn't like way too easy. It was just a little bit on the easy side for him, but he seemed to really like it. He gave it a thumbs up. And like I said, he's still been reading a ton of picture books. He just keeps finding these books in the library that he thinks are like hilarious, and he's reading. I don't care. And then he read the new Boxcar Children series, book 1. I believe it's called the Great Adventure series. And the first book is called The Journey on the Runaway Train. I didn't really check into it much before I let him have it because it's Boxcar Children. But he kind of, I won't say he struggled through it, but he just didn't seem as excited about it as he usually is about books. He still gave it a thumbs up, so I guess the story was still good. But I checked on it today, and it's really like a reading grade 4. So it may have just been a little bit of a struggle compared to some of the other stuff he reads. So maybe that's why he just didn't appear to love it as much, but then still gave it a thumbs up. I don't know. And then the most exciting part about Jude this month is that for Christmas, he got his first Bible. So his first like non-storybook Bible, like real Bible, with his name on it and everything. And he was super stoked. It was so sweet when he opened it. And then he, out of the blue, just like, I had no intentions of like forcing him to read any part of it or whatever, because we do it during family worship and during school, and out of the blue he's like, I'm gonna start reading my Bible. I was like, oh, okay. And every time they have quiet reading time in the afternoon, he's been wanting to read it. And he's read, just at the end of December and the first couple days of January, has read the first 6 chapters of Genesis willingly, and likes it, and can tell me, not in super big detail, because, the words in there are kind of intense, but he can tell me, like, the main gist of what it was about, and he still seems really excited about it. So that could not make me happier, that your kid just wants to be in the Word of God, and you don't have to prod and push and make it happen. It's really awesome. So that is all that we read for the month of December, and I will talk to you next time. And I, as always, would like to get your book suggestions. I did ask on social media for some suggestions because I'm making kind of like my book list for next year, things that I would like to read. And I got a ton of suggestions, and some of these books, like Frankenstein, that I'm like, I just want to be done with you, because I have all these good books that look like, excellent picks coming. But I will just press on. It'll make me hopefully read Frankenstein faster so that I can get to these good books. So let me know down below what you're reading, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.